Hello, my name is Daria Duma. I'm a mature student who decided to pursue a master's in civil engineering after many years of putting it off due to kids, work, and life in general. I am a full-time freelance professional trainer and consultant in project management. I took this course to provide some structure to my work and learn how management consulting should actually be performed in a professional and methodical manner. This is a self-critique of my paper for APS 1049 Management Consulting for Engineers. My paper was based on a real case study with a client with whom I have been working. I thought it would be a useful exercise to summarize all the work that I have done over the past year with them into a report following the practices we have been learning in this course. The case study is focused on a residential developer that is struggling with production targets and stakeholder satisfaction. The numbers and the client name are fictional, as this information is confidential, although the order of magnitude of the data is aligned with the client's environment. Section A, identification of the problem and the client environment. I think I gave a lot of attention and information on the background and the problem, maybe even too much. I provided an executive summary that explained the background and the issue and a high-level glance at the potential solution, namely moving the client from a level 1 of project management maturity to a level 3 of project management maturity. But now that I'm taking a second look, I realize that I forgot to give a title to the front page of the case study. So I would probably give myself a little bit less than a 4 for this particular section, maybe a 3.8. I don't think I discussed assumptions very specifically, although I did present a position in the executive summary, and I developed a MECE diagram, and it's the first time I'm using this, and I found it very useful. I struggle sometimes with presenting the situation to a client in a succinct manner, and I found the MECE diagram very useful to summarize potential directions in which the desk study could take, and the potential issues the underlying issues of the problem. Having said that, I didn't really talk about the assumption, so I'd give myself a 3 in this section. Section B, analysis of the problem, issue, topic, investigation. The methods used for the investigation are clearly stated in the report, and I used quite a bit. The client wanted me to do a really deep review of their environment. So we created a project management team. We structured a steering committee. There were employee engagement sub-teams. Describe how we used a charter and what our strategy was. We had a work breakdown structure, described the data gathering and analysis. We actually had a schedule as well, but created a questionnaire and interviewed many of their employees, their vendors, and their executive leadership. So all of this is explained in the report. So I think this section would warrant a 4. I'm not sure how clear I was in discussing the client's perspectives and others' perspectives in this paper. And I did mention that the client had previously studied the issue and identified some fixes, but did not go deeper to identify systemic root causes. But I think that it is clear that the complexities of this environment, such as the aggressive target, silo culture, and so on, are identified in the report. I could have been clearer, so I would probably give myself a grade of 3.5 for this section. Section C, credibility of resources, source material. I spent a lot of time on ensuring that I was backing up my conclusions and recommendations with proper sources, that it wasn't just coming up from my own head. I used PMI's PMBOK guide and PMI's Organizational Project Management Standard, ISO 9001 Quality Management Standard, and a few other professional journals and sources. One of the things that we did, I gave the client a choice of going in the project management direction or the quality management direction to analyze root causes. They eventually chose quality management, and I used the 7 principles of quality management to analyze the results of the study and the results of the interviews. However, having said this, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I reread this and I thought, geez, I could have probably improved this a little bit. As a result, and I could have been a little clearer, I would give myself a little bit under 4 for this section. Again, maybe a 3.8. Conclusions, I think I didn't spend any time on the limitations, and that's, I think, a pretty important miss, I'm sorry to say. And I should have. There were limitations to what we could do. The parent company dictated how the organization should be structured and the process they should follow. Nonetheless, I did not state this in the report, so I think this deserves a 2, as you see on the screen. The integration, this is probably one of my strengths, but looking back, I could have synthesized a bit better. I presented this huge table identifying what works in the client environment and the issues. That should probably have been moved to an appendix, and I should have synthesized the results. So I would probably recommend a 3.5 to myself for this section. With regards to the conclusion, the solution, I think the related outcomes are logical and have a direct link with the evidence. I did not use the McKinsey approach in describing the case study. I probably should have. It would have been a lot less work, and it would have been a more focused paper and easier to read. But I viewed the 2 sample cases in module 0, so that's the direction this paper went. However, having said that, I related the outcomes to the MEC chart. I involved the project management team. We had a workshop where we prioritized the recommendations, created very specific implementation actions to address those issues and follow up on the recommendations, which is where we are now with this case study. So I feel this particular section deserves a 4. Thank you for listening and considering my opinion.